My next patron question is from Lance, who wants to know my view on sad endings. Can you feel better about a sad ending or fix it? I ask this because Batteries Not Included is a great movie, but I always get emotional at the end. I like to know a way I could view it as happy. Do other films have endings that make you feel like I do? What are ways to fix a sad ending? Considering the question is about movie endings, I am going to say right off the bat that there will be spoilers. Not for particularly recent movies, but I wanted to issue a warning nonetheless. Regarding sad endings, I think there is a place in cinema for them, and they can be just as fulfilling as happy endings. However, there are a number of cases where seemingly sad endings have a hopeful subtext. You look at Charlie Chaplin's The Circus, for example, which ends with the circus leaving the tramp behind. It feels like a sad ending, because despite everything the tramp did to help the horse rider as well as the circus, he stays behind. And yet he picks himself up and carries on, hoping he can find an even better purpose. You also have a lot of movies about dogs, which can oftentimes end with the dog dying. However, those usually don't end on a downer note, as the owner will still have those memories of that dog they hold dear, or the story ends with them getting a new dog who is just as loyal. Most people remember what happens to Old Yeller at the end of his movie, and it's definitely sad and upsetting. However, not long afterwards, the lead protagonist gets a new puppy to have further adventures with. Of course, you certainly have those films that end on a really sad note with little hope. Grave of the Fireflies probably has one of the most famous sad endings in film history, although what's interesting is how Western audiences find it sad for different reasons than Japanese audiences, including the director Asao Takahata's own interpretation of the story. I personally find Grave of the Fireflies has a sad ending partly because what happens to the central characters could have been so easily preventable, both from their own actions and the actions of others. I think it's a perfect ending, and not one I would change, as I feel that would dilute the message. You also have movies that exist as cautionary tales. Requiem for a Dream is definitely not a movie to watch to perk yourself up. It's a good movie, but very heavy. For those unfamiliar, it follows a few characters who become consumed by drug addiction, and it ends about the way you would expect. If the movie ended on a happy note, I feel like that would be contrary to the message it's trying to convey, which is about the dangers of drugs, the negative effect and destruction they can have on your life, and that if you can find a way to avoid them, do it. I will say the type of sad movie I'm not fond of is what I like to refer to as the world sucks, so why bother movie. Those are films that send a far too gloomy message about how all human beings are terrible people, there's no point in trying to improve one's life or others, and you'll never experience anything fulfilling. There are no heroes, only misery, and you should forget about anything good ever happening. I dislike those kinds of films because their overall pessimism often results in something empty, and they just want the audience to come away hating life. Finally, I want to talk about a director who is often perceived for making happy endings, but I find what he's really good at is crafting endings with a well-done mixture of happy and sad, and that's Steven Spielberg. E.T. has a happy ending, obviously, as E.T. is finally returning home. However, there's also a sadness to it, because Elliot and the other characters are probably aware they'll never see this alien again, one who brought so much joy and excitement to their lives. Schindler's List is said to have a happy ending because Oskar Schindler succeeded at saving 1,200 Jews, and seeing the real survivors at the end is very emotional. However, we also see Schindler visibly upset and distraught because he knows he could have saved so many more. Saving Private Ryan has Ryan's life saved at the end, but at the expense of other American soldiers. And then you have AI, artificial intelligence. For years, Spielberg was accused of adding a happy ending to the story until it was revealed that the final scenes came from Stanley Kubrick. I used to view the ending of AI as a happy one, but now I see it as heartbreaking, as the android David is only given one day to see his mother again. Spielberg is just really good at mixing moods together in a satisfying and moving manner, and that's why he's one of our best modern storytellers. To quote Roger Ebert, movies are a machine that can generate empathy, and a properly delivered sad ending can do that. Thank you for your question, Lance.